Welcome back to the Sloppy Horror Podcast, boys and girls. I'm your host and scary movie companion, and my name is Christian Ramey. And mostly every week of your year, I am here to talk about some scary movies, break them down, talk about them, give them a nice little rating. Okay, but I can't do it by myself. So, I'm here with my brother, best friend, motherfucking best producer in the whole wide world. His name's Ozark Mark. You guys know him very well. He is back. Or shall I say we are back. How's it going, everybody? And how's it going, Mark?
Right, and hello, my good friend and all you chaps and peoples out there. Welcome back to the one and only Sloppy Horror Podcast. It's a great day to be alive, listening to, horror movies, intellectual conversations and random facts and funny ha-has and everything is going down here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast. Season of whatever the fuck this is, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't have any seasons. So
I completely forgot that this movie took place in England.
It's in England, yeah.
Yeah. Right, you fucking cunt.
Hold on there, bloke. I'm no cunt, yeah.
I love British movies. I forgot how funny they are to me and how
proper and polite.
Yeah, proper and polite, but when they get angry, they just start yelling cunt everywhere. That's their favorite word.
Fucking cunt, yeah.
Fucking cunt. Definitely means something different down here in America, but when I was originally saying this, I originally went the old German man. I was like, 28 days later.
You know,
but
I like that.
I liked it, but the 28 days later.
I don't know where I went from. I want you to imagine the fourth kind, right? And you remember how she met that Sumerian doctor guy? I'm 28 days later. It's 28 days later. There are zombies everywhere.
The face ultimately makes it.
No, it is 28 days later. There is not enough time.
It's ruined now. Fucking son of a bitch. That's
we
it.
just know we can't say it in English. How about that? You're like regular American English. Yeah.
A lot of things work. That one might work. The funniest one.
How much time has passed, brother? 28 days later. There are zombies everywhere. I cannot run this fast. But yes, God. It is an English movie. Now, I guess before we get all crazy, boys and girls, this show would be absolutely nothing without you guys.
I'm sweating because of that.
We would be two crazy people here, and we already are, but we would be sadder crazy people if it wasn't for you boys and girls. So if you're a listener of the show, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to subscribe to YouTube because it helps us out more than you know, and it's completely for free. And then also all our audio listeners, make sure you're giving those 5-star ratings. And you want early access to each week's episode? Well, you better sign up for Patreon, okay? You might get a little bonus flavor in there too, but each episode will be posted there generally the Friday before the episode comes out, so you can have it for your weekend if you just can't get enough sloppy in your holes. We're here. That's not a big deal. So we got these preliminaries out of the way. We had to give thanks where it was due, and we're thanking you. But we have to talk about some zombies. And Mark, you were alive, obviously, clearly. When we got out of high school, dude, you remember the zombie wave that happened in horror? And,
yes.
I can't even be mad at it. I wouldn't say it's my favorite subgenre movie, but it was huge. Zombies were huge.
Yeah, I like zombie movies and post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I don't know technically if these are zombies, though. I mean, it falls in the zombie category because of what's happening, obviously. Mm-hmm. But generally, when you think of zombies, you think of undead.
Yeah.
And these infected people are not technically undead, but they're just like plague infection. But it's still
like mad cow disease.
They act like zombies.
Mm-hmm.
The fast ones, not the slow ones, the Walking Dead type shit. This is fucking. And faster ones.
And this is something that I don't even think I've ever really put together. And I've seen this movie when it came out. I know this movie very well. You're like, oh, cool, there's fucking naked Cillian Murphy at the beginning of the movie. You're like, you don't expect that at the beginning of a movie generally, but
I expect the guy butt, sure. I mean, they went over ahead with the guy butt, but to give the soft
dong,
soft dong
Yeah.
in the beginning of it, I'm just like, Jesus.
Yeah, it was a start. It made sense. He was in a hospital. It's just you're not expecting, right? You're not expecting.
It's unnecessary nudity.
But can we say something for the zombie trend? Because did that hospital scene remind you of anything?
The Walking Dead.
The opening scene of The Walking Dead. Now, for years, I mean, it's that first episode of The Walking Dead is gorgeous. I mean, there's many great episodes, but Rick waking up in the hospital and then he works his way into Atlanta. You remember on the horse and Glenn saves him. That was a fucking monster episode. That was so good. But watching 28 Days Later again, you're like, damn, they just straight up kind of took that whole concept there. That was it. They did that in this movie. Now, I would say, obviously they had their own little tweaks and things, but waking up in the hospital after the apocalypse of zombies or whatever, crazy people, it's the same thing. And I don't know if it made me mad because there are tropes in movies that make this same, but it's pretty much dead on. That's Rick's tale.
Everything is an idea gained from something else.
That's true.
Some idea has been inspired by something else that they've seen, and it's a twist of it. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very rare situation where you have a completely original from scratch idea anymore, because there's so much shit. Everything's been done over the years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm whoever made that scene obviously was inspired by this. Has to be.
No doubt, dude.
Has to be.
This flick is it's got its own pacing, it's got its own tone, and because it is English, it does have it's an English horror movie. So it's just got its own, for lack of better words, vibe. It really does. When I think of these, I haven't seen the third one, obviously, because it hasn't come out. But when I think
is there only two of them?
28 days and then 28 weeks. And then this will be 28 years.
Well, shouldn't they do 28 months?
You would think they just skipped right ahead, but it has damn near been 20-something years since, it's been a long time. What was this, 2001 when it dropped?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen the second one. Is Cillian Murphy in the second one? I heard he wasn't.
No. No, he is not in the second one. No.
Is he going to be in the third one?
He's a producer.
Okay.
On the third one. So he's a part of it.
At least he's a part of it.
I don't know. They may give him a cameo of some sort.
It has to be.
The second one was kind of a situation where they went into a new wave of people that were also dealing with the same situation, just in a separate location. Obviously, 28 weeks instead. But so there's definitely a tone with these movies that I really do appreciate. And like you said, I think the fast zombies, and I don't know, I could be wrong, but this is one of the first examples that comes to my brain when you think of the running at you crazy fucking beings. And then we saw quite a litany of them, and then it really kind of dumped on its head with World War Z. Got a little too much. But this is, I mean, I'm rolling through the Rolodex here, and you would think I should know better, but this is really probably the first great example of fast zombies, because these guys were,
There's no way it's the first. It might be. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just the first one that that set that trend up, because usually, like you say, it's
a trendsetter movie is what you're trying to say. There's no way it can be the first one that has that fast zombies in it. There's no way. But
yeah,
I agree with you that this is probably the movie that kicked off all those, and that's where everybody got their ideas from, because this was cinematic.
Yeah, dude. I want to look at that, because I'm struggling here, thinking of what would come before this, because honestly, with the fast zombie, it adds a whole nother.
Dawn of the Dead had faster zombies in it, didn't it?
So it says, while many consider 28 Days to be the first movie to popularize the fast-moving zombies, the title of the first fast zombie movie is often attributed to Return of the Living Dead, which I guess, but those were more funny. They swarmed. You remember when they got the paramedics? It was more of a swarm. I don't get the 28 days that thing going on.
Yeah, this is more of a disease.
Yeah.
Biological. And that's when that's the whole new generation of zombies now.
He's infected with rage.
It's the same thing.
Rage.
What the fuck is even that?
It's a rage in his body.
The rage in the monkeys, don't let him out.
Watch out, bruv. He's got rage.
Is that code for something? What is rage? What is that?
Just pure rage.
Is it like you're just living life like you're constantly stepping on Lego pieces? Like what causes rage like that?
I don't know. Like, yeah, it's just like that's a side effect. It's not like he's sad. Well, why? He's just sad. He's just sad.
He's been infected with sad.
Oh, all right.
I don't know what that means, but
of course, though, the opening of the movie, I guess we can run down a quick little synopsis for you. If you have not seen 28 Days Later,
28 days later.
28 days later, brother, we must run. So what happens in this flick is we have a character named Jim, and Jim is played by Cillian Murphy. Wakes up in a hospital. He was in some kind of accident, like a motor accident. He was on his bike, I think.
Yeah.
And he got hit. And he woke up in a hospital. Things are fucked. If you've ever seen the opening of Walking Dead, very similar. So he's like kind of cruising around for a little bit of time, just walking through busy streets of London, but not busy. There's no one there. And he's like trying to pick up the pieces of what's going on. Well, eventually, he sees somebody that is not well. He finds his preacher, because he goes to church. It's like the pastor or something. I don't know. One of those figures. He called him Father. And he saw that he clearly wasn't well. So he starts running, and then eventually, kind of like Glenn in the original Walking Dead, he is helped by two people. A lady named Selena, and I forget the other guy's name, Mark, I think, and he died. Mark died pretty quickly. Which was also real. That's probably
a Mark with a C.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. He didn't give me like cool Mark vibes.
No.
Yeah, it wasn't the Mark that we needed.
No.
Definitely a C Mark.
C Mark.
Yeah.
I like that.
So, after they help him out, we lose Mark quickly through a scuffle with zombies, and then it ends up just being Selena and Jim, and then Selena and Jim end up finding a father and a daughter. And they end up on the move. They're like listening to a radio broadcast, and they're like, oh shit, we got to go to this place. Also kind of similar to a Walking Dead thing. And they get there. It's not what they expect. These people really are trying to take women sex slaves, to be truthful. Like, they're trying to like get the women and make their own kind of weird universe there.
Yeah.
And obviously they're not cool with that. They all fight it. They escape. Jim gets shot. But the dad doesn't make it either. So it's like Jim, Selena, and the young girl.
It sucks too, because the dad got taken out in the dumbest way.
I know, and like in horror movies, like so there is a thing in horror movies when you become seasoned. When a character is introduced, you know immediately if he's dying. Like there are certain characters you know immediately, and you know the minute that you meet the father, his name, which I fucking
Frank, something with a Fred, Francis. Freddie.
Frank. But Frank is played by Brendan Gleeson.
You big softy, Frank.
Brendan Gleeson's awesome. Like, he's the dude that played, I guess for most of the people, like the Mad Eye dude from Harry Potter. But he's been in so many fucking movies throughout our youth. I love that guy. He's so good. But as soon as you meet him, he's like, oh, friends, you're gonna die, dude. Mm-hmm. I just know it. I feel it. Like, there's certain people you just know. Now, if you come in with like a Daryl Dixon kind of vibe, is this guy cool or not cool? They're probably gonna live for a while. But if you're like, you remember Dale from The Walking Dead? I was so sad that he died, but you just kind of knew. You're like, he's gonna fucking die, dude. And this sucks. I don't want this. You meet a Herschel, you're like, I'm a good man with a good spirit. You're like, fuck, he's gonna die, dude. The asshole's gonna stay alive. It's the way it always works. Mm-hmm. But Frank didn't make it, and like you said, he didn't. He went out in the dumbest way possible. Like, it was very interesting and cool, but it's like shitty for him. Like, fuck, got a blood drop in his eyeball from a crow. Like, fuck, dude, that sucks, man. Fucking birds, they get you.
Oh, crows are supposed to be our friends too.
Mm-hmm.
Fucked him up,
dude. Mark's death was the funniest to me. That's the funniest part of this movie is because usually there's like a heartfelt scene when somebody is bit in a zombie flick where you're like, fuck, and they know they're gonna die. Sometimes you get the amputation, like Herschel, like, we're gonna cut your shit off, or we're gonna, like, you get the dramatic, like, leave me be, I'll take myself out, like the kind of like, no, Selena immediately starts fucking hacking this dude up and killing him. And it's like her friend.
I know.
And she's just like, there's no time with the rage. You're like, okay, lady. Like, just fucked him up immediately.
There's no time with the rage.
Fuck. Like, even like watching it again, like they're not anticipating her to move that quickly. No. Like, of course you have that, like, I'll take you out too if you turn. I'll have to, of course.
Or at least you're going to wait till they start, but they turn pretty quickly with this.
They do.
Yeah.
They do, and she just fucked his whole world up.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good laugh. That was a very good laugh. Now, I guess the old-fashioned, and I feel like we may have somewhat had this conversation before, but Ozark Mark, here's the question. Right now, zombies are breaking out. Where's your go-to spot? Is it seclusion? Are you thinking a mall? Are you think like what kind of like mindset are you thinking? Where would you go?
Oh God.
Be nice if you had a boat.
No shit, yeah. But I mean, boat, but I'm nowhere near a boat. If it happened right now, I'm nowhere near a fucking boat. And I don't know how to operate a boat. So I'm fucked there. Unless it's like a rowboat or some shit. So that ain't gonna help.
You're just talking shit to all the zombies. Like, fuck you.
Somewhere, some farmhouse, something. Somewhere out where there's not population.
That's where I would think too.
The only downfall with the no population areas is you're not going to get as many supplies as you would, going to like say a mall or a city area. But, there's stores out there. There's a Walmart somewhere.
If you've got, if you could manage to get a raid on some seeds to grow your food, and you could it would be even fucking cooler. Idyllic place would be secluded, like kind of like a farm place, but you almost are up on a hill, so you're gonna see anything coming. And then if you could just manage to keep a little bit of fucking like a couple pigs and a couple chickens, if just like a few, if you could just manage to do that, you could make it with some fruits and veggies,
chickens and eggs and fucking. There's that, but of course there's stores there. You're gonna go out on adventures. You can get perishable canned goods, shit like that. There's plenty of stuff out there. But yeah, farmhouse. Somewhere there was a lot of land that you could see in all directions. So, and then you could probably set up some kind of security system to where, they like fucking hit something and bells start going off. Some shit like that. Or at least somebody on watch. But they went out to seclusion and they had a pretty nice time.
The fucked up part is, like, if this were to happen, there's a small part inside of everyone, especially if you practice your Second Amendment, where you're just like, oh, it's on. Like, could you imagine, like, how crazy that would be? People, obviously, I'm not the only one who's fantasized about a zombie apocalypse. Not that I would ever want that, but if it were to happen, they said that it would, like, somebody did, like, the math on it. They said it would be over so quickly because, like, every human, like, say, like, every American would have to kill, like, 4 zombies a day or some shit, like, for it to do whatever. Or, like, 4 zombies, I don't even think it was a day. It was, like, over a period of a week. And eventually, like, the population would curve and, like, you would do it. But I'm like, dude, there would be guys out there stacking hundreds a day. Like, there would be people fucking going nuts.
Hell yeah.
Like, I don't think it would be that long.
No.
I really don't. I think, I don't know, certain countries could really get hit, but this particular one, there's just enough seclusion between places.
Not in America. America is just going to be fine because we have guns.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have weird terrain. Like, you could, like, there's all sorts of terrain. So
any country that does not allow weapons is fucked.
100%, dude.
Is fucked.
Like, what would be crazy to me if, now, this could be a pitch for a movie that we're going to do. But if you had a zombie apocalypse, but like in the jungle, and they're all in the jungle, right? And they take over one of those little tribe of people, and then they're like scary looking, and then they're all zombies, and then you're getting trapped. Like, that would be fucking nuts.
Fuck that.
I know.
That's 2 things I would not fuck with.
Yeah, you don't fuck with the jungle.
No, leave the jungle alone.
Yeah,
There's nothing good out of there. I don't eat anything from the jungle.
Leave it in the book.
Leave it in the jungle. Just stay there and leave it do its job, produce oxygen. Everything in there can fucking just eat each other and die.
The only jungle I'm going to is Paycor Stadium, and that's it. That's it. I cannot. Yeah, dude, but that's freaky, man. You think about that, but then I also like wonder, those dudes would probably be all right. Like, I mean, obviously they don't have the best health stuff out there, but I don't think zombies are sneaking up on tribal people and the fucking,
No.
I think there's certain areas where you're like, look, I don't want this to happen, but if it did, I kind of want to be a fly on the wall and see what would happen. Like zombies like stumbling onto a military base.
Dude, you can make it.
Dude, no. Like, it'd just be, I don't know, it'd just be interesting. But I think the amount of innovation, it might bring the country closer together. People be making cool cars, all kinds of crazy shit. It would be interesting to see. We'd never want that. But if it did, might be a good thing. Might help out everybody. Come closer together. Mm-hmm. Weed out some of the morons. Because if you're getting attacked and you're probably weakest on the list. I'm sorry to tell you. It's just how it works. I mean, there are the unfortunate cases where you just might go out because of, just wrong place, wrong time. But I'm just going to say, strong will survive. And if it happens, I think I'm giving it a month tops for this to happen. But it didn't happen that way in 28 Days Later because it kept going. And you got to have a movie. And then England, bro, was they going to shake the zombies, yeah? They going to shake them with their knives?
I don't think they even had knives. You have like a fucking
That's all they got
bat.
over there. They run you for your trainers, bruv. You're like, no.
The soccer clubs would survive.
I know, they give us shit for gun violence, but they're over there hacking people with knives like it's fucking...
I know, over soccer games.
1830.
Oh, I'm sorry, football games.
Yeah, you guys are violent too over there, so cut the shit.
Football clubs and gangs and shit you got over there.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
But those dudes will be fine in the zombie apocalypse.
Dude, a zombie apocalypse at one of those giant soccer games? Those things get fucking scary. Like, I would be afraid to go to one of those.
Their chants are hilarious.
I know, but
They'll chant about anything.
You almost don't want to go in any side of Jersey because you don't get beat up. Like, could you imagine going on one of those? That'd be fucking nuts. We think NFL games are crazy.
Yeah.
That shit would be intense.
Yeah, I'm not going to any of those ever.
But I think also, and I don't know, it might work in England as well, but I think this movie works very well because it's English, because you're, I mean, it obviously could be American too, but when you don't know your terrain, it's why Hostel worked so well. It almost makes it just a tad bit freakier when you don't have a full grasp of where you are or how everything operates here. And I think that's why it kind of became popular in America as well. It's like, fuck, dude, zombies in England? Fuck. You're like, oh. I think they did a great job of really... Everybody was pretty serious in this movie. Like, the acting was really good, but they also, like... It's a zombie movie, so you have to have some humor. Like, you can't... There's no such thing as super serious zombie movie, or that's not fun. You do have to give us a little bit of comedy in here, and I think they did. There's a little bit of... It's not a horror comedy by any means, but there's just moments of tension relief, and there are parts that I laughed at. Mark it and cut up the bits. I thought Frank was pretty funny throughout his adventures. What a change in the tire.
That was shit.
That was scary.
Talk about a nail biter there. Get your heart pumped a little bit. Horrible place to run. Get a flat tire.
At least these aren't the Train to Busan zombies. I didn't like those guys. They're scary.
Yeah, those guys are intense.
I don't want any part of that. But that's what that scene reminded me of, when their tire broke down, and like at the end when that pregnant lady and the little girl walking through the tunnel and you think they're about to get shot by the dudes. I was like, oh my God, dude. Tunnels are always kind of freaky in movies like that. You're like,
nothing good ever happens in a tunnel.
Like, yeah, train's gonna come or Cloverfield monster's gonna pop out, dude.
It's a fucking portal to a ghost realm or something. It's like, why do we keep making tunnels? They're scary. Stop fucking making them. Like, nothing ever good happens in a tunnel, like, ever.
Yeah, we don't need these anymore. Let's get
fucking go even tunnels of love.
Yeah, we don't
Bad
need
things
this.
happen in those.
Yeah, that's where people get murdered.
No,
you
that's
know,
where people make the worst decisions of their lives.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. But if somebody said, "I'm gonna take you to the tunnel of love," I'd be scared. You know, like I feel like they've got
like,
like my
I ain't-
murder plotted.
Look, I ain't going in there. No, thank you.
Look, brother, there has already been 27 days. Now this is the 28th day. We cannot go on. We need that guy. I hope there's one of those in 28 years later. All this time later. They're still here. Fucking right. Those guys, that works just like the English accent too. If you get like the South African guy like that, yeah, I trust him a little more than I would just a regular English guy. You're like, or like an American guy. You're like, yeah, all right. I don't know what you're saying, but you sound kind of smart about it, so I trust you.
That's true. I would trust that voice a little bit more.
Yeah. We cannot go that way. All right, I don't know why, but I trust you, sir. I trust you. I don't know what insight you have, but I'm taking your word for it.
Yeah.
You cannot drink that, sir. Oh, okay. All right, I believe you. You sound like you're on a documentary, okay? And I recognize that that's
documentary.
yeah. And I'm sure there are people in England that are dumb as shit that I shouldn't trust with their words. But I tell you, if they like read me a story or they say something cool, I'm gonna be a little intrigued. I'm gonna believe them for a split second. Not very intimidating accent. It's not intimidating, but it's intelligent. Yeah. Book smart. Now, if you did have to deal with the zombie apocalypse, do you want a team of people or like a small group of people? You want to like just like straight alone it? Do you want to like
No, you need a small group of people.
Yeah, I think so too. You want to kind of like Ocean's 11 that shit too.
You can't do everything by yourself.
You like want a
There's no
mechanic, you want a farmer, you need a medical person.
Well, no, I don't have all these skills.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I don't know if I have any of those skills. So I need a group. I need a group of people. I need someone to watch. I need somebody that knows shit. You know.
Well, that's all right. You'd be like Leonardo. Like you're the silent leader of the group. All right. You don't have like a necessarily like overwhelming trait.
Like,
but you're just the leader.
Like I need somebody that knows how to skin and fucking dress animals.
Yep. Your dad's coming.
I don't know how to do that. Okay. I need someone that knows how to gut fish. I don't know how to do that.
I could do that one. I can't do the animal. I mean,
I'll figure
I feel
it
like
out.
I could,
like
but
I'll figure it out. I mean, just open it up and I know what fish meat looks like.
the one good part about fish, if you do it while you're still in the water, you could use the water to help you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Clean the mess.
Right.
Yeah, you want a farmer. That would be really cool though, man. Like if you had that kind of compound. The Walking Dead did a good job at that, of having like different chapters of people that creepy people, obviously, like weird. What was that one place, like the Terminal or something? I forget the fuck that place was called, but it was like a weird compound, and they tried to like slit everybody's throat, and then Rick just went bananas and fucked people up. I remember that. I do think that's kind of like, it's kind of romanticized because I do think people would be together a lot more than people in that situation. Now, in everyday life, I think people are going to be pricks to people. I think people are going to cut people off. I think people are going to steal people's shit. I think whatever. But if it's like us versus them, like aliens versus us, zombies versus, you're going to have a couple dummies and you're going to have a couple people that are trying to be fucked up. But I do think there would be an overwhelming good in people because you're just like, nah, dude, you're not just going to let a family of children get eaten by zombies if you could, like, shoot them, you know? Like, you're going to help. You're going to fucking help. You don't want to, but fuck. You know, it's like, if I'm going to die, I'm going to do something right. Like, so it makes really good on screen for all these crazy things that go down. But I do think that it would go a lot quicker than they make it seem. And then I also think people would really stick out for each other a lot more.
How the fuck there's no way this lasted 28 years.
There's not enough people.
No. 28 years.
Nobody's gonna keep fucking.
They're still here.
They're still here. Brother, they won't go away.
All right.
Out my window. I still see him at night.
All right, let's figure out more things about this movie.
Yeah.
Welcome to the What Do You Know here. This is the segment here where we're here to tell you something that you may or may not know about this movie. Now, if this is your first time here, we're going to tell you things we know about this movie. You may know what we know, you may not know what we know, but if you know what we know, you're going to have a we-know-gasm. If you don't know what we know, you're about to find out what we know, and then you're going to have a we-know-gasm too. Everybody's included here. Everybody gets and will receive a participation trophy.
Equally.
Yes. That's the sign with the line and the two dots. Equal.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. I think that's divided.
Coexist.
Which is the opposite of what we're doing here. So, why don't you tell me something that you may or may not know about this movie?
Now, this is a very interesting movie. There's a lot of good things that we could talk about.
Think so.
I've got quite a few.
Okay.
But here, we speak about different things that happen, and obviously, I found this fact to be pretty interesting.
Are you gonna tell it to me, or are you
Yes.
just gonna sit there and talk?
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna tell you in 28 days. You see what I did there? Okay, no. Here's the fact. So when Jim and Selena, they meet the dad and the daughter there, Frank and I forget his daughter's name, but they Hannah. That's her name. Her name is Hannah.
Hannah.
Hannah. Hannah. So
Hannah banana.
Hannah. So they hang out. And when they get together, they kind of have like a celebration almost. You know what I mean? Like they eat, they're doing dinner and they got like, good wine and, they go back and they eat like kings.
Uh-huh.
That day was September 11th, 2001.
That's horrible.
And Frank said that, he said it felt weird to film that kind of scene on that day, but, obviously everybody's got a job, but he said it was a pretty somber mood on set. And that's pretty cool for the fact that they're not even Americans. They're like, when they show, hey,
yeah.
This is a bad day, but...
Yeah, I was gonna say at least they weren't in America.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So it's not as bad. But if you were in America and you did that scene that day, you'd be an asshole.
Yeah, Now I want to tell you something else kind of interesting, too. There's another kind of fun fact that, and this is the fact that you'll hear a lot, but obviously they are shooting in very popular areas in England, and there are times where it looks very vacant, and that was kind of hard for them to do because it wasn't something that, you can't rent out it's like New York City. You can't just take New York City and just say, hey, give me all these streets here. I'm going to walk around. You can't do that,
Mm-hmm.
My cousin Timmy, he tried to do that. He said he's the king of Yonkers. What happens to him? They throw him off the fucking Brooklyn Bridge. Now he's not here. You can't do that. You can't even do that in a small block. Not even a small area. And they managed to do it with this, but what happened was they did a lot of... They managed to talk to their, I don't know, what do they fuck, a parliament? They smoke parliaments. That's what the government is over there. So, pack of parliaments. These people over there, they granted them some permission. They gave them a little bit of help. And they said, look... You can film really, really early in the fucking morning, right? And it's kind of on you. Like, we can't stop everybody from coming, but we can kind of, like, help you with a couple barricades and help you a little bit. And you got to get what you're going to get. And then, the rest is on you. But those scenes that were on, like, the highway, like the motorway, the production got permission to shoot on the M1. And I guess that's, like, the big highway over there. On a Sunday morning between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. And the police gradually, slowly let traffic in on both directions. They used 10 different cameras, and the filmmakers managed to shoot a total of 1 minute of footage. Between all of that, trying to make it, because...
Shit just went with the computers at that point, shit.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool, though, that they did that, but that was kind of fun.
No.
Now, the last fact that I'm going to leave you here with, because obviously, I'm a big fan, of Stephen King myself, and, we obviously have covered a lot of his work here. Stephen King liked this movie so much, he rented out, like, a whole theater for his, like, friends to come watch this movie. And he bought an entire showing of the film. It was in New York, so I think that's kind of cool. Or maybe he's just a loner. He went by himself. He's like, I'm not dealing with fucking nobody.
I guess.
Should be kind of cool.
If I had that kind of money, I would do that, too.
Yeah. So... I gave a couple facts there. You happen to know anything about this movie, 28 Days Later?
I know a fact.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Just because you were over there giving 3, I only know 1. But
that's all right.
The people who employ us, they were talking earlier about how this was a movie with the fast zombies or whatever. They got the zoomies. It's like a bunch of people on catnip. And they got all the zoomies. They're on catnip here. They're going crazy. They're doing all kinds of movements and stuff. So they were really scary looking zombies here. Well, You know what they did here? For those zombie-like roles, the infected roles, they only hired specific actors who are athletes.
You gotta get you a nice athlete.
Because, you know, they run fast. You can't have a regular actor trying to run. They get all winded after the first take. And they're doing parkour jumps and jumpings over fences and all that stuff. So they didn't. So a lot of those movements by the zombie people are real people doing athletic type of things here. No CGI or any of that crap. They actually, which makes sense. I mean, if you're going to have fast zombies, you need athletic people to fucking do it.
That's what they did, too. I imagine they turned a lot of people down. You know,
that's a good choice, too, because, you know, athletes don't work all the time.
Look, sir, I appreciate you trying out for this movie, but you never had the makings of a varsity athlete, so I'm going to have to send you home.
Hell, I mean, this is Class C. You don't even need Division 1. It could be Division 4, if that's even possible. I don't know.
They just came in with like 10 koosh balls and just threw them at the face.
I would just walk.
Think fast.
Sir, do you walk a mile at least once a week? Yeah, okay, good. You can do this.
It was just physically off. They look at them and then they just try to like think fast, and then if you catch it, you're in.
Exactly.
You're in.
That's the whole thing. That's what they did. So
he caught it.
That's a fun fact about 28 Days Later. That's what I know.
That does make sense though when you watch it. Though, like it doesn't look like CGI. Those look like fast people and
fast people doing fast things.
I think like we were, those people were saying, earlier that with Bart Pitts, the World War Z, that was a little too much CGI. I mean, it was piled up on each other. You kind of get that I Am Legend look to it. It just was a little too much, not good.
Yeah, it's too much.
So I like how they did this here, and that was nice.
Thank you.
So. That's 4 facts for, the 28 days later,
So
that's like a fact for every week for your 28 days. So
that's a good... Did you just think of that off the top of your head there?
I did.
Look at that shit.
There you go.
That was good. Well, with that being said here, I got one more thing for you before we go. Because in our production meeting through the new season, the guys who hired us said we had to be more entertaining and less factual, which is bullshit. Because that's what we do here. This is our segment here, and we're here to tell you things we know. So, all right. So we're going to end it with a joke here.
Okay.
So listen here. You got 5 ants. And they moved into a new place for rent with 5 other ants.
Okay.
What are those ants called?
I don't know.
10 ants.
I see what. Hey.
There you go.
No,
there's your daily ha-ha.
I got to give you one more here.
Okay.
Why is it, the country Greece?
Yeah.
Why is it, do you know why they don't like to wake up at dawn? Because dawn is tough on Greece. Hey, cleans the baby ducks. Get your oil spill. There you go.
If you ever run out of body soap, just wash yourself with Dawn.
Yeah.
If it's clean enough, good enough, soft enough to clean baby ducks, it can clean you. I've had to do that before.
Yeah.
I swear to God. I ran out of body soap. I had to be clean for what I was about to go do. I used Dawn soap. Fucking fine.
Cleanest you probably ever been.
So that's all we got for you, so we're out of here. Goodbye.
Wow. Those some pretty interesting facts there. And for a movie that's been out for quite some time, I didn't know all these things. So, I like when those guys step in because, granted, they're not your typical kind of guys. You can't just bring them anywhere, but...
I don't know. I'm glad they're here because I don't feel like talking the entire time. I need a break.
Yeah. And, they're not necessarily the warmest people in the world, but they just know weird shit.
What do you mean by warm?
You can't bring them everywhere, They're select kind of people,
Yeah.
They're rough people. Vagrants, hoodlums, criminals, dime store hoods,
Delinquents.
You damn delinquents. Those old school terms grandpas would call you.
Yeah.
Don't make fun of me and my friends, Grandpa.
Oh,
Y'all a bunch of delinquents is what you are.
Riff-raffers.
Riff-raff. I don't have time for us malarkey. Easy,
Malarkey's
Grandpa.
one of my favorite words.
Rubbish.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I like the aggravation because old guys used it. Like, if ever, I don't have time for the aggravation.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, wow. I don't think any of us do, but it's okay, Grandpa. Now, this did kick off a good portion of zombie movies. It's I would say this is definitely, like you say, a trendsetter. Started it for the 2000s, and then, you know, in the early 2010s, the late 2000s, early 10s, zombies were it, dude. Zombies were it. Like, they were everywhere. Horror conventions were everywhere, packed with Walking Dead people. And I'm not talking just like the weirdos that would hang out with us and listen to this show and watch horror movies quite often. I'm saying people's moms were watching Walking Dead. That had like big pull, dude. And it was graphic. There were parts where it was, you know, it was something that it was a time where like most of America was watching something kind of like I generally watch. And that was kind of cool. It got too top heavy and fell in on itself, as most things do. But now that it's in the past, it was kind of a cool time. That was an exciting time. I definitely watched the shit out of some Walking Dead for those first few seasons. It was good. Mm-hmm. I think like right about 3 is where it started to get, like right after Glenn died, I was just pretty much over with it. Like it was just hard for me. But
I think once they left that farm, something, it got dumb. It was dumb as that because they were looking for that stupid daughter for like a whole season. And then she's in the barn the whole time. It's like, okay, all right.
Yep.
And they went to a prison, and then they did this, and then you got I don't know if that show's still even on.
I think it is, dude.
Is it still? Or they're doing spinoffs now? They milk that. They're gonna milk that cow dry.
Yeah, they did.
It's worth.
And it sucked because like seriously though, like those first 3 seasons, that's like a real gripping TV show.
It was. It took over everything. I mean, that was the show to get.
Yeah.
You get shows like that.
You remember they did like a remake of The Crazies. That came out. That was some zombie action. And then we're leaving out one of the biggest factors of what made zombies most popular. It's fucking Call of Duty. There's no denying that. Like, you want to come over and play some zombies? Like, you know what that means. And that was a real thing that people did for a long time.
Yeah.
And playing zombies it would get you going, dude. Like, obviously, we had games growing up like your Resident Evil, Dead Space, those kind of things. The horror games, the ones that keep you on the edge of your seat. But even as, like, a more grown person, playing zombies can get you going, dude. You're like, fuck!
It's definitely fun, and it's a ingenious way because you can't win.
Yeah.
There's no end.
Yeah, it just keeps going.
It just keeps going until you die.
So you're just trying to get a high score, more or less.
Yeah.
But that was a huge time frame. I don't know what that was. It was just all over pop culture. And I guess vampires do too. You can kind of do that with vampires, but I can't like recall a time where like, there's vampire movies always, but it was not like, I guess moms could watch vampire movies, but even if it's kind of like an archetype of mom that would be into those kind of films.
No, you got the True Blood people.
Yeah.
You just have to put sex in it a lot in vampire movies, and then girls will like it.
Yep. And then like the English style ones too, like the Victorian era, like say Bart Pitts and Thomas Cruise, interviews with the vampires,
Diaries of whatever it was.
Yeah, and then Queen of the Damned. Those were good. But yeah, those are gonna get ladies. If you had that like sprinkle of Bridgerton in there, they're in there. Mm-hmm. Nosferatu was really good, dude. We'll end up covering that one, but that one was really good, and it was kind of cool because it was a creepy ass vampire, but it's just one of those characters like a zombie where they might fall off for a few years, but if you think about Night of the Living Dead was 1968. And then if you think like, ooh, Return of the Living Dead, that's in the 80s. We're talking about Walking Dead. So it's just like you got to give it a break. It's like a Batman movie. You can't do one every year, but you give us a couple years in between them. You can pop back out. We're fine with that. Mm-hmm. Do you remember the Crazies?
Just as soon as we forget about it, you can come back out with it.
Yeah.
Crazies? No.
That was like maybe 2008. But I feel like it took a lot of inspo from 28 Days Later. But and we have to give credit because I'm not going to not give credit to our boys here. 28 Days Later, it was made. The director is Danny Boyle, and the guy who wrote the movie is fucking. They work together. They're a partner. It's kind of like the James Wan, Gary Doberman effect, where they work together, Alex Garland, and they're the ones working on the new one. They didn't do the second one, which I still thought was pretty good. It was still pretty good in my opinion. Nowhere near as good as the first one, but it was good. It was worth the watch. I wasn't mad at it. But this third one, not only are the original two dudes coming back, but Cillian Murphy's the executive producer, so he's on set. Tommy Shelby. Boy.
Well, you know what time it is.
Game time.
Press the button, buddy.
Sloppy horror rating, baby, yeah!
All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we do our due diligence here and give you an educational, analytic type of thing here. This is the one and only the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating developed by Christian Ramey himself. This is a horror movie rating based on a horror movie, not a movie in general, so keep that in mind when you look at this score. This is designed for you to figure out what level of a horror movie you're getting into. Just because it's a 2 doesn't mean it's bad. Just because it's an 8 doesn't mean it's good. Understand? You're just getting into the level of horror of the horror movie that you want to watch. Sometimes you're in the mood for a 4.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're in the mood for a 10 or a 6. Whatever.
We're just seeing what's checking off the most
We're
boxes.
giving you the best bang for your buck, even though you didn't pay shit. So, how are we going to do this? We're going to do this in a series of 4 categories. 3 of the categories are worth 3 points. Last category is worth 1 point for a total of
10 points altogether.
correct.
Yes.
So, let's get into the first category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is casting.
You know, I want to give it a 2.5. I want to give it a 2.5 for this specific reason, because it's great actors in this movie and they do very well. But it is a zombie movie, and it is just kind of like, there's no over-the-top performances where I'm like, even Train to Busan, I don't know, kind of gave me a little bit of like, there was some emotional scenes. I wasn't that emotional with anybody's death in this. There was no like, wow, that was like, there was no like monologue that was like, holy shit. So great acting on everybody's part. Everybody did a great job. It's just almost missing like a little something for me to give it a 3, in my opinion.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, it's just and I blame that on plot. I mean, it's just zombies. Like, you're not...
Yeah, I mean, there's
no Forrest Gump situation here.
The situations before between the zombies when they're having their conversations and everything, it kind of drifted me away.
Yeah, they're just eating snacks.
Yeah, no.
And shit.
There's
Like,
no intense scene like that makes you go, that was acting.
nobody's
They were
pregnant
good.
or like, yeah, there's no.
But they were still good. They still did the job. So I believe that. I like the choice of people that they chose too. So that is Dos Point Ocho here on the Sloppy Horror rating system that we're doing here. Let's get into the second category, and that is kills.
Kills. I haven't even thought about this one until now. Is there an over the top? Is there one that's crazy over the top?
No.
I don't think so either, dude.
If there was, I would remember it. I don't remember it.
It's kind of like screaming a 1.5 to me. Like, that's where my body's going. Like, there's definitely kills on the screen, and they're definitely...
There's a plethora of them.
Yeah, they're almost like athletic kills, though. They're like just quick and...
Lots of gore throughout the movie. But, ain't nothing special.
I don't think so either. It's kind of just a 1.5, middle of the road. Nothing too fancy. You definitely got some gore, definitely got some deaths.
Plenty of deaths, stabbings, hits, shotgun shots, the typical stuff that you're used to seeing.
The normal.
So that is 4 out of 10 so far. Let's get into the third, final 3-point category. And that is fear.
Initially, my brain saying 1.5 again, because I do think you're going to like, it's a frightening movie in the sense of, if you're not a horror person, definitely can get your anxiety going. Definitely like, oh my God, dude, these guys are fucking quick. It's a suspenseful movie, so it definitely can get you going while you're watching it. I just don't think it's one you're taking home with you and you're thinking about afterwards. But I do think while you're watching this, it's like one of those heart monitor movies where I do think you'd be engaged, and I think you're going to be on the edge of your seat. It's suspenseful as shit. I think if you're watching it with some people that are kind of easily scared, you're going to get some, you're going to get some pops. You're going to get some, turn it off, this is scary.
Well, again, yeah. There's also the fact that this could happen.
Yeah, it's true, dude. Like some
This isn't completely fictional. I mean, this could happen.
Pandemics.
I mean, it's believable that some disease that could take over the planet. Could
AIDS.
happen. Could happen. It's 1.5 there. So that is 5.5 out of 10 so far. So let's get into the final 1-point category for half a point each. And that is rewatchability.
I'm going to have to say hell yeah. Every time I watch this, I enjoy it. I wouldn't say it's like, oh, I'm throwing this on all the time, rewatching it, but it is one that I do catch from time to time, and I'm never disappointed. It's not a crazy long movie. It's very digestible. It's very watchable. And it's fun. It's just a fun kind of movie. I'm really excited for this third one coming out for that reason, because I've seen this so many times, and even the second one, for it not being as good, I've seen it quite a few times. So I want to see what they do with the third one. I like that there's a trilogy here, so I do think a lot of people are going to return back to this one and appreciate it, because I don't know, we're kind of at that weird age, dude, where we're like not old, but things that feel like they came out like not that long ago or 20-something years old. You know, and you're like, well, I guess for like a young person you could see at a bar, like this came out when they were a fucking baby or before they were born. So it's like, oh, yeah, okay, well, yeah, go back and watch it. It's a great one. You know, and I think they will. I think they'll, I don't know what year specifically, but there are, movies stop looking old. Like, there's like once you get into a certain point of 2000s, and I guess you can like recognize they got flip phones and certain things, but just from a filming perspective, they don't have that veneer. Maybe it's when film went digital. Maybe that's exactly when, but it just doesn't look old. I mean, this movie didn't look like, oh, this is an older movie, but it's fucking 20-something years old.
Yeah, and it just plateaued.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, it's just filmmaking just plateaued. I guess it's my turn. Yes, I think it's rewatchable too. For everything you just said. So that is a total of, is it 6.5 or 6?
So our first was 2.5, second was 1.5, third was 1.5, and then this is 1. So I'd say 6.5, right? Is that correct?
Hold on, 2.5 plus 1.5, that's 4 plus 1, 5.5. So it's 6.5 out of 10 here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast, rating right back up in your ass for 28 days later.
Do not let this rating concern you, brother. 28 days later is still scary. There are zombies coming after you and your family.
They're infected with the rage.
Like, I can see what that guy looks like. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's got like a turtleneck on.
Yeah.
Like,
Glasses.
yeah, dude. Like, for sure, glasses. And probably like a necklace that's tight. Like,
Yes.
I am here to help you.
Scarf and everything.
Yeah. This guy seems like he knows what's going on.
Flood jeans, everything.
Yo, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Those jeans do not touch that man's ankles.
No, I must be quick. We must be faster.
Got to get out of here. That's not even in the same accent. That's a little bit of Arnold in it.
Yeah, I like that.
completely fucked that up. Wow. All right, well, there you go. So you learned a little bit of facts. You learned what this horror movie rating is. I mean, you're fully educated right up in the rip. It's been a while, but we got you back into the swing of things. You know, you were going through a little bit of withdrawals without us two cornholes going back into your peepholes there. But we're here now.
We're back.
Yeah. How you feel about that?
I'm
What can we expect this season?
Well,
Is this just a regular ass season?
yeah. So here's
What is going on here?
So we're just gonna start, cranking out episodes and just giving you guys stuff. Now we're still gonna have seasons, but I think it's gonna make the seasons more special if we have obviously we've got our annual seasons of like the Road to Halloween. I even do kind of like a year in review or whatever. Those are kind of cool, and we'll pop up with those. But in those time frames where we don't,
So we're just doing regular ass show right now.
we're just freestyling. Freestyling.
Ooh, that means anything could happen. That means you have no clue what's got to happen next week. Shit, I don't even know what's about to happen next week.
But I will say I did do quite a bit of extensive research on movies that are coming out this year, of what's coming out. Some we may cover on those that come out this year, but really, if there are sequels that are coming out, if there are things like that happening, I want to make sure that we can at least cover part of the franchise, because it's new horror people are going to be talking about, so we are going to be there. Obviously what's coming out this year too, there's going to be a new Final Destination. And like those movies never reinvented the wheel. And if you don't look at like a Tostino's party pizza kind of movie, it's good. It's good. It gives you what you want. And I tell you, there are scenes from those Final Destinations where you can see them and you just never forget.
Ah, dude, I really don't like those movies.
Fuck with your head like it.
I really don't like those movies. I hate those movies.
Yeah, so they're not for everybody. They definitely aren't for
Fucking gymnast scene, like,
I know,
they
dude.
just take like things you don't normally think about deaths, but like you could easily see dying like in front of your eyes.
I've never had a water bottle on my floorboard ever in my car because of that. A lady went to break and a water bottle went under it, and it was like, dude, there's certain things, and once again, they're not like award-winning movies, but I'm sure at some point we'll probably cover the first one. Quite a few things, and Nosferatu is definitely one I would like to jump into at some point too. That movie was just so good that I feel so confident on doing an episode on that. This is really since the start of Sloppy Horror, man. We had all that pandemic bullshit, and there were only like fucking 4 or 5 new movies coming out a year that were even like worth maybe even mentioning. Dude, we're like in the the last 3 months, there's been a fucking dozen horror movies to drop out. Like that's really cool. So I don't know. We're gonna keep our finger on the pulse there, and so we're freestyling, baby. You're gonna get what you're gonna get, and you're not gonna throw a fit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. So, anything else you would like to add before we skip on out of here and leave you people be?
Yeah, obviously this is going to be
that you're doing.
This is going to be out like a week or two after all this drama has taken place with TikTok, and we'll see what's going on with it, if that sorts out, but as you guys obviously know, I'm more sporadic on TikTok. I'll make stuff on there when I feel like it, but this is the bread and butter, so you guys can never worry. I don't care what app gets shut down, as long as there is a way where we can post episodes for you guys to listen to. That's what we're gonna do, so you don't have to worry about none of that shit. So
Don't worry, brother.
do not worry, brother. Well, I'll be here 28 days, 28 weeks, 28 years. I will be talking about movies. We will be here together.
We're still here.
Your mother and I are here to talk about movies.
All right, that's enough. I'm done. You good?
Good.
All right, let's get out of here.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.